Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with another weekly Q&A/update. Delayed a little bit because of the new Night of Assassins.
League of
Assassins gear that just came out, which is really good.
Which we updated about yesterday.
So anyways, we'll get right into it. First off, in WWE Immortals, the online season is a regular season, so we're just going to say it again. We've already said it. The top 2% gives you all rare gear instead of a mix of rare and uncommon gear. So if all you're looking for is the gear and the money isn't as important, which is us and potentially you guys too, the top 2% is actually a lot better. And the current character challenge is a repeat of Skull King Triple H, and so it was a shortened challenge and it's just about over now. In Mortal Kombat X, the current Faction Wars is a regular season, and the current character challenge is Revenant Kung Lao, which gives an extra bar of power to his NetherRealm teammates. And last but not least, in Injustice, the current online season is a regular season, and the current character challenge is for Arkham Knight Harley Quinn. And finally, the most recent thing, as we've already mentioned, is the LexCorp gear rotated out yesterday. And so the League of Assassins gear has just become available. And it is quite good.
To me, the best is actually the League of Assassins Adept Knives. Power Gen, Damage Boost, Special 3, which...
Special 1.
Sorry, Special 1.
30% Power Gen.
Which always sounds better than it is because 40% is huge, but that's off the minimum. That's not what matters. Huge is the area effect splash damage of 50% from Special 1. And if you've seen our video with Batgirl, you know, all geared up to do huge Special 1 crit damage, that's huge. She can do more splash damage than our setup with Ares.
Yeah, so I think the main reason why they made the damage so high is because normally Special 1 is so crappy, right? But in this case, it's actually, if you're geared up just right, with the right character, it's actually ridiculous.
So, it seems like it's an offensive kind of set. Damage boosted basic attacks 30%, life drain, 21% life drain on chance on combo ender, damage over time on specials, and alright, so an extra crit chance on basic attacks and more damage. That is sweet, especially when it's not character specific, because there's very few crit boost on gear that's not character specific, except for this, I think, in Cloak of Destiny.
Yeah, so if you're fully maxed out, that would give you 300% damage on basic attacks.
Yeah. So
I mean, crit on attacks.
Having two of them, if opponent tags out within 12 seconds of you tagging in, you steal 35% power. And if you have all three equipped on one guy, if they tag out within 12 seconds of you tagging in, apparently everybody does damage. We haven't played around with it yet because we've been so focused on using it with just the Adept Knives on Batgirl.
Yeah, so anyways, really good set. We'll move right into our Q&A portion of the video now. So our first question comes from Ahmad Akram. What does 1150 MP mean, though?
That's a good question. Back in the old days, I guess not that old, but back in the old days, we did a bunch of multiplayer online videos with much lower gear scores. At the time, a lot of people like to say that lower star gears were crap and they weren't worth fusing, and we disagreed, so we put together multiplayer teams with sub-maximal and sometimes really low gear scores that could comfortably win epic battles. And we demonstrated them by winning epic battles against level 50 Elite 7 Gold teams. So if you want to, you can just take a look at some of our... We've got them on a playlist called MP Team Demos. The unfortunate thing is that now there are more 5-star gears and gear set bonuses and the augmentations, and you're facing fully augmented teams. It's hard to do well in MP Online play unless you have at least some augmentations or you're using the higher star gears. And since we're only accumulating augmentation slowly, that means higher gear score teams in MP, at least if we want to demonstrate winning teams.
Yeah, so I guess the really quick answer is it's the total gear score of all three characters.
Oh, I totally didn't even get around to mentioning the actual answer.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Alright, I got all distracted. Okay, yeah.
Anyways, our next question comes from PirmaisČalisPagalmā. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. There's some macrons and stuff in there.
Right, no, but seriously, because obviously we don't know what language your name is in, but in English at least, that bar across the A is a macron, and that should mean like a long A, so an A pronounced A instead of A.
So, sorry for any mistake there.
You know what? Do us a favor, in the comments, tell us how we actually should pronounce your name.
That would be cool, yeah. And they say, will do. I just thought that if I wrote the comment in your comment, you would get the notification about it, because the video is pretty old, and you probably wouldn't check it out. At least in my opinion.
Alright, so just as a housekeeping kind of thing, so for anybody who's commenting, we do get notifications for everything. Sometimes when there are a lot of comments on our channel at once, we might miss one or two, not because we don't get notification, because it's just too much going on. But it has nothing to do with how old the video is, so when you want to comment, and make sure if you do it, to do it on the appropriate video, because then at least we know what we're talking about.
Yeah, in a way that we can also reply.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. Check out our discussion page, because if we don't reply, it might be because we missed it, but sometimes it might be because the settings in your account don't allow a reply.
Yeah. Okay. Our next question comes from Little Puppet with the E's replaced with 3's and the I replaced with a 1. Leet speak. And their question is, how long are you going to do YouTube?
I love this question. Alright, so the short answer is as long as it stays fun. But it's a little bit more complicated than that. Alright, so really, to start with, it's fun to get free stuff. And so far from doing our YouTube videos, we've gotten a free 1-Up box, and there's a link in the description for the video, and that's a subscription service, sort of like what we do with Nerd Block. We got a free Solve a box, which was a monthly puzzle service, but it seems like it's now out of business.
Which is too bad, because it was a good service.
Yeah, and there's no connection. It's not our fault. We did not put them out of business. We got 2 free sci-fi blocks, again, link in the description if you haven't seen those videos, and a free book.
Medusa's Web by Tim Powers, which we totally loved. We reviewed it at the end of one of our Nerd Block unboxings, and it's out now, so totally get that.
And the funny thing is, these have all sort of come from our least popular videos, as a group, our unboxing and recommendation videos. Now, that's the first fun thing. It's also fun to talk to people about Injustice, Immortals, and Mortal Kombat. And that's why we've been doing our weekly Q&As now for what?
7 months.
The last 7 months,
yeah.
Right. And funnily enough, again, these are among our most unpopular videos too. Most of them don't even get 1,000 views. But we keep doing them because we like it. It's also fun to play Injustice, and it doesn't take much effort to film it. You know, our Let's Play videos get a decent number of views, and our tip videos get some views too. But I gotta be honest with you, giving tips, even though it's kind of fun, part of it almost seems like work sometimes. Because it takes effort to figure out the kinds of things that would help people, and then, you know, a bit more effort to figure out a way to film it that will demonstrate it. Yeah, it takes a bit more effort. And no lie, I'll tell you, it's fun to make a few bucks. So maybe let's pull the curtain back a little bit, right, from the whole operation, because I know that people who don't get a lot of views on their YouTube channels and maybe don't monetize it, don't know this. So some people think it's easy to make a lot of money on doing YouTube, and that all depends on what your definition of a lot is. And on the balance, when all the views are taken into account, some views make money, some views don't. So that's what people mean when they say are like the monetized ones.
Yeah,
right?
ad block doesn't count, so we don't get money if anybody's got ad block, and a lot of mobile views don't count, even though there are some ads now on mobile.
So we end up with maybe about $1 for every 1,000 views. And if you've been following along, that means our unboxing videos and Q&A videos make basically $1 or less.
Yeah.
And not per month, that's $1 over the life of the video, because that's 1,000 views over the life of the video.
So one thing that's actually really interesting, which I want to point out really quick, is that the video ads that you actually get to skip, there are a lot more coming up 30-second unskippable ads. And that's annoying for you guys, and also for me too, because I am probably primarily a viewer. I watch more YouTube than I actually, like, Create YouTube.
Yeah.
So, when you watch the whole thing is actually where the creators get money. So there's an agreement that they have with the advertiser that you get like a lot more. It's like 7 cents, or it could even be like something like 10 cents or something. Like it's a fair chunk of money, but you only get that if you watch at least the first 30 seconds, or in some cases the whole ad. And so, if it's shorter than that. So when you get the unskippable ones, you're actually getting a lot more money to the creator, because ones that you can skip, the creator is getting like no or like basically no money from, as opposed to the other ads where it's very small but it's actually guaranteed cash. So if you really like a creator, one way that you can support them is watching through 30 seconds of their ads when they're video.
Alright, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and which brings us to the last, and some would say sort of the first type of video that we do, which are the glitches. So here's the thing. They get the most views, they make the most money, obviously, because they get so many more views, like orders of magnitude more than the others, but they also suck up the most time. Alright, so the obvious is, sure, it takes a lot of time to find new glitches, it takes time to test them out, and it takes time to figure out a way to explain them and demonstrate them. But none of that actually compares to the time it takes to follow and respond to the comments from people who are having problems. Alright, so, and when you talk about the comments, you can break them down to categories too, right? So the really clueless ones are the easiest to ignore, because it seems like there's always a small fraction of commenters who don't even watch the videos, because if they did, they'd realize that their question was already addressed, and usually repeatedly in the video that they're commenting on. But for a lot of the other comments, we continue to do a lot of troubleshooting, because we feel like this is, for want of a better phrase, good work. So we started filming glitches and continue filming glitches because we're trying to level the playing field. The glitches are there, whether we film them or don't, but filming them makes, well, it means that they're more accessible. They're a tool that makes it easier to handle the hackers to compete, and I believe they're a tool that help keep us from getting burnt out and frustrated with the games.
Yeah, which is always in the end the total goal, is to just have the most fun out of it.
Yeah, and lots of people who don't like our channel will disagree with this, right? Because they feel that everyone should only make progress through grinding and farming. And yeah, that's okay. We can see where they're coming from. We don't have a problem with dissenting views.
And actually, in general, I'm probably closer to on their side in things, especially when there's a large multiplayer component. And in this case, we have our own reasons for justifying it, mainly the amount of time that it would take and the almost, like, undoable amount of time it would take to get to the point of completion that we want to be at. But it's also, that's really just a justification for it. It's not actually, like, a proper excuse.
Yeah, and like I said, that's not a problem, right? But the problem really is, but they sure do account for a lot of the rudest and most self-righteous kind of trolls. So, I mean, getting back to the original question, right, how long we're going to do this, and the original answer, which is as long as it's fun, it's that the longer complicated answer is that we film a bunch of different types of videos, and we have as many different reasons for filming each of them, and as long as those reasons are still good, then we'll still keep filming. What gives us the most joy recently, actually, is getting free review copies of books to check out before they're even released.
Oh, that is so exciting.
I love it, right?
Yeah.
It's something we want to do anyways, and to get a chance at it before anybody else, it's like a sneak preview, right? So if you want to have some influence on keeping this channel alive, besides watching as long as you have until the end of this, which is great, by the way, thank you very much, the best way is to support our unboxing and recommendation videos by watching, liking, and commenting on them. Because that's what gets us some of the stuff. And you know what? Thanks a lot for asking this question. I know this probably isn't the kind of long-winded thing that you expected when you were asking, but we started all this, not this particular channel, but just doing any kind of YouTube stuff back maybe late 2013.
Yeah.
A bit of a lark. And it's nice to have an excuse to look back at where we started and where we've ended up, more than a couple of years later.
And it is really cool, yeah. Because when you come into it with the real, no expectations of any success, what we've gotten has been really kind of astounding.
Yeah.
Like, it's nowhere near what a lot of people get, and that's a metric that we don't actually really care to compare ourselves by, because, like, our metric is nothing to this. That's how we judge our success, right? And it's been really, really cool.
Yeah. It's funny. It's an interesting team. He beat us, and I like that he's still trying to make use of Red Lantern Hal Jordan.
Maybe he invested some augments.
Yeah, augmentations are a little bit crazy. The problem is they're so hard to get. So there's definitely that opportunity cost, right? Where you're thinking, okay, you put on whoever you like, but then there's always a chance that later on you'll realize, ooh, I should have put it on somebody else.
Yeah.
Although one thing to me is really obvious, right? I've said before, the crit chance and the crit damage are the most important augmentations.
Yeah.
But for attack and for health, what you really want to do is use it not only on guys that you like, but if you have a choice, pick the guys that are going to benefit the most from it.
Because gearless, if you're considering them gearless and on a level playing field in every other way, maximum crit chance and crit damage is essentially a static, like, plus 75% damage.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous for everything.
So...
And getting a plus 75% damage for every single type of attack would be much more than a full gear set.
Yeah, because most of them are basic attacks or specials, right? Not
both.
Alright, oh, and I should point out too then, to me, the best guy to put the damages on Arkham Origins Deathstroke, because he's fun to play with, and his passive gives him a bonus, so that every point of attack boost you're giving is basically like giving a point and a half.
True.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Komoda.